Before we start, I would like to state that we are very close to 50 subscribers, so please subscribe. Now let's start. As the chapter starts, we can see that Tor MC killed Zhu Ling within a few minutes, and the moment Zhu Lishan died, the skill he had used to trap people here also became useless, and everyone got freed from his skill. As soon as they were released from Zhu Lishan's skill, they all came to RMC and started praising him and thanking him for his help. Hearing all of them, RMC smiled and said, "We are all human beings, so there's no need to be humble." The people who had escaped from Zhu Lishang's clutches were injured, but even then, in excitement, they all said to RMC, "General Lin, rest assured, once we get out, we definitely won't let the Zhu family off easily." And while saying this, the expressions on all of their faces showed assurance to RMC. They all in their own way were ready to help RMC. Then after this, RMC's team also came to him. Mohan, smiling after seeing RMC's performance, said, "Lin, you're so impressive. Now in the future I don't even know whether I should call you XU or General Lin." Standing next to her were Ning Yi and Mo Yan, who were also smiling after watching RMC's performance and were laughing after hearing the siblings' conversation. Hearing his sister's words, RMC made a plain expression and said, "Sister, please stop making fun of me." And as soon as he said this, Ning Yi and Mo Yan, who were standing beside, started smiling. After that, they all set off on their journey ahead. As they continued walking, the four of them arrived at the peak of a mountain. At the top there was a wooden bridge stretching out into the distance, but the entire bridge was surrounded by thick mist, so dense that only a short portion ahead was visible. Anything beyond that was completely hidden from view. The path forward was entirely obscured by the fog. Seeing the bridge, Moan became serious and informed everyone, "Once we step onto this bridge, the second phase of the trial begins from this point onward. We'll each be on our own fighting solo. How far we make it will depend entirely on ourselves." After saying this, she motioned for everyone to move forward. The moment Moan said those words, everyone got ready to proceed. Our MC stepped onto the bridge first and began walking forward. After a short distance, he disappeared into the fog. One after another, Mohan, then Mo Yan, and finally Ning Yi, stepped onto the bridge and started advancing as well. Whoever moved forward onto the bridge could no longer see their companions. They were completely hidden by the mist. Each of them kept moving ahead, unable to see one another, following the path of the bridge in silence. Then the scene shifts to the spot where Zhu Lashing's lifeless body lies. His corpse is sprawled right in the middle of the forest. He is now dead, his body completely still showing no sign of movement whatsoever. But suddenly the ground beneath him begins to crack open on its own as the earth splits apart. A massive plant-like tentacle emerges from within it, swiftly wraps around Zhu Liang's body, grabs him, and pulls him down into the ground. The moment that huge tentacle drags Ru Liang underground, the cracked earth reseals itself perfectly as if nothing had ever happened. The only trace left behind is a faint glowing light seeping through the ground. There wasn't even a drop of blood left. Everything had vanished, including Zhu Lishang's body. And on the other side, as soon as our MC crosses the bridge, he finds himself standing in front of a skillstone tablet, one that is of a low level. In the center of this stone tablet, there is a large sword embedded. As soon as our MC lays eyes on the stone tablet, he begins walking closer to it. At this moment, he notices some sword mark patterns carved into the surface of the stone. He studies them carefully, focusing on the intricate designs. Suddenly, a notification appears. This is the Cut the Wind skill, a basic sword technique capable of slicing through the air. While RMC is examining the marks on the stone, suddenly, several glowing swords begin to materialize before his eyes. Startled, he exclaims in amazement, "The patterns are moving. Is this phase of the trial meant for me to learn the skill?" Engraved above, then he notices a few more stones nearby, each one bearing similar markings. Upon closer inspection, he realizes that each stone represents a different skill. The first one is for the Cut the Wind skill, the second stone holds the Cutting Wood skill, and the third also reveals a new skill. Seeing this, our MC says in surprise, "There are three choices here, each representing a different path: agility, technique, and strength. Even though I'm a mage, I do have some experience from the divine Zia Pagad. Learning swordsmanship shouldn't be too difficult." Without hesitation, he sits down in front of the stones and begins trying to memorize all the skills. As he sits before the first stone, the one with the Cut the Wind skill, it suddenly begins to glow. A green light emerges from his body, flowing directly into the stone tablet. Then, during this phase, we see a few other participants as well. They are also seated in front of their respective stones, trying to comprehend and acquire the skills, but to actually obtain these skills, they must undergo a challenge. Some of them, unable to succeed, stand up in frustration and exclaim angrily, "How am I supposed to learn swordsmanship? I'm a mage." Among them, we see a boy named Liang. He too stares at the stone in disbelief and says, "This sharp wind, how can this be possible?" He presses his hand against the stone, deep in thought, recalling a past mistake. Could it be because I accidentally stepped on and killed an animal? He couldn't understand how a wind-type sword skill could relate to his profession, and that Confusion left him both angry and disheartened. Then the focus returns to our MC. He has successfully learned the skill named Cut the Wind. Rising to his feet, he says with determination, "I've learned the skill. Now let's see what this trial is truly about." At that very moment, fog begins to gather in the area. The large sword, embedded in the center of the stone, starts to tremble, and something begins to emerge from it within the thick mist. An unknown figure slowly becomes visible. This mysterious entity stands amidst the fog, wearing a long black coat and a wide-brimmed hat covering its head. Sensing the figure's presence, our MC immediately turns around, draws his sword, and stares straight at it with resolve. He declares, "So this trial requires us to defeat a puppet using the skill we just learned. Our MC can only pass this test by using the skill he just learned." And the moment the unknown figure steps forward and appears before him, it immediately raises its sword and charges in to strike. Blocking the sudden attack, our MC is taken back and exclaims, "Its speed is insanely fast. Its agility attribute must be at least 1,500 points." The unknown swordsman begins launching a continuous barrage of strikes against him. Though our MC manages to block the attacks with his sword, he's simultaneously thinking hard about how to counter it. Then it suddenly clicks for him. This second phase wants us to defeat this puppet using only the sword technique we've learned with both our skills and attributes sealed. That means the more fruits someone has consumed, the higher their attributes, the easier it will be to beat this puppet. Its stats aren't high, they're about the same as most people's, but I've consumed the initial fruit. All of my attributes are at 10,000 points. With a firm grip, he clenches his sword tightly and strikes back at the unknown figure using his Cut the Wind skill. Our MC forcefully pushes the mysterious opponent backward. The clash continues for a while there, swords colliding again and again, but by making perfect use of the Cut the Wind technique, our MC eventually defeats the unknown swordsman right there on the battlefield. Upon completing the test, all 4 of his attributes gain an additional 500 experience points. Standing tall after his victory, our MC casually remarks that was way too simple. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the other participants are still struggling to learn the skills from their stones. Each one faces their own test with a mysterious figure related to the skill emerging to challenge them. Fiercely so far, only our MC has managed to pass the trial. The rest are still facing tremendous difficulty. After successfully clearing the second phase, our MC enters the third stage. As soon as he arrives, a notification appears in front of him, informing him you have forgotten your skill, Cut the Wind. Reading this message, our MC places a hand on his head and says, "So the skill learned in the previous stage gets erased." No wonder Dean Mo said that those who reach the third phase can't remember anything from before. Now, in this third phase, there were several stone tablets in front of him, once again, each containing a different skill. One stone displayed Fire Bullet, another had Wind Blade, others revealed Ice Arrow, Thunderball, and various other elemental spells. Seeing all of them, our MC smiled and said with excitement, "So they're magic-based skills this time. Now this is more in line with my specialty." The scene then shifts forward in time. Our MC is seen defeating the unknown entity assigned to this phase with a confident tone. He says this stage is cleared as well. Now it's time for the fourth stage. He was ready to move on, a smile lingering on his face as a reward for passing this stage. He gained 1,000 experience points in all 4 of his attributes. Then the story shifts directly to the outside world, where we see Liang falling straight out of the portal and crashing to the ground. A crowd of people was gathered around the portal, watching anxiously. As soon as an old man sees Liang emerge, he rushes forward and asks Liang, "Are you all right?" Lying on the ground, Liang struggles to catch his breath and replies, "I've been eliminated." As he steadies himself and tries to sit up, Liang suddenly panics and exclaims, "Grandfather, something terrible has happened in the ancestral grounds." The moment Liang blurts this out in a panic, everyone nearby turns their eyes toward him, including Ning and Mo, who had been standing among the crowd. All attention now focuses on Liang. In a shaken and desperate voice, Liang shouts, "Zhu Lisheng, of the Zhu family, has joined the cult of demon worship. He's become one of their lapdogs. He didn't eat the fruit, and once we consumed it, when our attributes and skills were sealed, he planned to kill us. Not only that, he even activated the soul destruction barrier. He wants to make sure we can't be resurrected through our soul marks." This was the end of this chapter. Please like and subscribe.